Construction to Last is a podcast by Saint-Gobain about those who invent and live the future of construction. One morning in June, I took the train to Grenoble, in the south of France. I was going to meet two social housing tenants in the ABC residence. ABC is not a residence like the others. It is energy efficient, sustainable, and participative, with residents of very different generations. No one ended up there by chance, since the city council selected them on their motivation to consume less and to share moments with their neighbors. When I arrived in the eco-district, I immediately spotted the residence. The buildings are covered with huge solar panels that can be seen from far away. Other buildings are being built in this eco-district, next to a research institute.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Enchantée.
Nice to meet you.
Merci.
Thank you. I met Younès. He is an architect and a middle school design and technology teacher who moved into this residence when it opened 2 years ago. The door to the living room was open to a terrace, where his wife and father-in-law were tending plants.
Enchantée, bonjour.
Hello.
Hello. The bay tree has started to fall down because, as you can see, it is covered in flowers.
Vous avez la main.
Does your family have a green thumb?
Kind of. Maybe more my wife than me.
Above our heads, the solar panels doubled as large sunshades.
From 1 p.m. onwards, the sun starts to shine, so we are protected by the solar panels, and we can sit down and eat on the terrace without being bothered by the heat.
Younès showed me the building next door, which was also covered with solar panels.
So these two panels on the other building, Building A, supply electricity to this residence, to those two buildings. The electricity production of the other panels is re-injected into the electricity network of Grenoble, GEG.
Ah oui, donc en
So
plus,
in addition, it also provides electricity to other people.
Absolutely. They're selling the electricity generated here to other customers. Then we get a little bit of energy back, which is fed back into the building. How much do we save roughly? About 5% over a normal electricity bill. And it's also thanks to the fact that the building has a very good insulation, so there is not much electricity or energy consumption inside.
Younès explained to me that the building is insulated with wood fiber. As an architect, he is passionate about construction and knows his residence inside and out.
I asked for information about how it was designed and everything. How to harvest rainwater, how to store solar energy in the batteries downstairs, how to use the showers, water.
Could you show me all of that? Let's go on a tour, then we'll take a moment to sit down if that's okay with you, and we'll go on with the interview. Younès led me to the bathroom and turned on the water in the shower. On the shower head, there were green lights.
When you turn on your shower, the shower head displays a green light. It means water is running. And when it turns blue, it means that we have already consumed 6 liters of water. From blue to purple, we have consumed around 12 liters, I think. And when we reach the color red, it means that we have already consumed 40 liters of water. These are indicators of water consumption for showering.
And does it go from 6 to 40 liters quickly?
Yes, it's quick. Honestly, you put your shampoo on and wash your hair and it turns blue. Then you start panicking. You're thinking, oh, so it's already turned blue. I have to hurry up to avoid using too much water. That's the true goal.
Younès discovered the program via an advertisement that presented the ABC residence as the first energy self-sufficient residence in France. Interested parties had to send an application to Grenoble Habitat talking about their commitment to their environment.
We justified our interest by saying that we are sensitive to the ecological issue because of my job and also because of our respective sensitivities. My wife and I love nature. It's true that our awareness was already raised, and we easily and quickly signed up for this project.
Their application was accepted a few months later, and they moved in July 2020.
So there you have it. It's an innovative housing with rainwater recovery, solar panels. I like it all. It's very, very appealing. And in addition to that, in their program, they insisted on the participatory aspect. That is to say that we are not only tenants, but tenants who should participate in the common life of the community. And we really liked that.
In the courtyard of the residence, there is a participatory garden that encourages neighbors to connect with each other. The residents were accompanied by an association for 2 years to learn how to grow vegetables and plants. Participation is on a voluntary basis.
When we work in the gardens, it's not for our own consumption. It's like an excuse, in my opinion, because it's a meeting place above all. We meet, we see each other, we have drinks together around in the gardens. It's very, 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 very nice, and the goal is to create links.
And Younès has been connecting with his neighbors. In the midst of the pandemic, when social distancing measures have isolated many people, residents have grown closer and helped each other. Younès became friends with his downstairs neighbor, Anne, a retired woman. I went down some stairs to see her. Nice to meet you. Anne asked her grandchildren to be quiet, and she invited me to sit in a light-filled living room. Behind the patio door, we could see buildings under construction and the mountains.
I would say this apartment is very well designed. I love this really big room. I love that big balcony where you can eat. I'm one of those who are kind of happy with the view.
Anne worked all her life in the medical social sector. When she retired, she could no longer afford her rent.
So I applied for housing at the Social Housing Center, and then, a few months later, they contacted me and said, "We were a little surprised when we read your file to see that you didn't apply for ABC housing." But what is the ABC building? Well, go look on the internet. I looked it up and thought, that's great. So I applied, and I was very lucky because as I live alone, I was supposed to have a one-room apartment. But I explained that I very often had my grandchildren with me, one of them anyway, and that it was important for me to have 2 rooms. And they heard my request.
2 aspects of the program were appealing to Anne: the connection between neighbors and the energy savings.
This desire to create a dynamic of sharing, interaction, and solidarity is something that corresponds to values that are very important to me. And the fact that this building has construction standards that allow for a huge decrease in rental charges. Electricity consumption, water consumption means that even with a very small pension, you can afford the rent of 610 euros per month for an apartment like this. All charges included. It's unheard of anywhere else.
For Anne, life is really comfortable in this building. She realized this when she moved into her new apartment in the middle of August, as temperatures in Grenoble rise quickly because of the heat-trapping mountains.
Grenoble is a scary hot city in the summer. Of course, what struck me the most was the quality of the insulation and the louvered shutter system that keeps the sun out of the apartment. And still, you're not left in the dark. These are Italian-style louver systems. They had it all figured out. So this is really great because it's 39-40 degrees outside, even more, and inside it's never more than 25 degrees.
Anne is a very active retiree. She volunteers in an association that welcomes families of convicts, and she also participates in the Grenoble Neighborhood Union. The eco-district is under construction, and according to her, it has not yet reached its full potential.
I'm very happy in this apartment, as long as the neighborhood changes. It's a dormitory neighborhood right now. The few stores we have are only for engineers or students. They're all closed at night. The convenience store is terribly expensive. 40% of the residents are going to be public housing residents. We can't forget these people. So that's it. We absolutely need this neighborhood to truly live. We need a cinema. We need things to brighten up our lives.
A sustainable building is part of a neighborhood. which must also be designed for the comfort of its inhabitants. It is the job of urban planners to think of the city as a whole, to determine the way we live and move around. This is why I wanted to meet an urban planner in the next and last episode of this series. She assists private players and local authorities to create the city of tomorrow, the one that is sustainable and promotes our well-being. Construction to Last is a podcast by Saint-Gobain. Animation and writing, Samia Basile. Production and mixing, Martin Commandeur. Coordination, Bartholomew Bell and Kevin Vergobi.